Hello, hello. Welcome to another Hot Topics live stream. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. How's the mic sound? Sorry I'm late, y'all. I had to get my mic together. Hey, hey, hey. Let me know if I sound okay. Push one if you hear me in the chat. And before we get started, let me check something real quick. Okay, everything sounds good on my end. Just an FYI, if you didn't know, I do exclusive content for Neptunian members and patrons. So if you're interested in watching, the links to join are in the description box. Also, if you enjoy my content, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. Hey, I'm glad it sounds good. Good. So a lot of you wanted me to talk about the situation, the BAFTA situation. I don't have too much to say about that. But apparently this guy by the name of John Davison, he has Tourette's syndrome. I guess he's a Tourette's activist. And while Michael B. Jordan and what's his name? Something Delroy London is his name. Um he ticked the N word when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy were giving uh, a speech, or when they were presenting an award. Yeah, I always forget his name. But and so he ticked the N word, and there's just been a whole bunch of outrage all over TikTok, all over really the whole internet. Um, and here's what I want to say. Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about Hannah Beachler, because Hannah Beachler came out, which she was a part of production on Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. But she came out and she said that um he ticked the N word several times, and it was also directed at her as well. So it wasn't just Michael B. Jordan, it was also Hannah. I think it was another Black woman. And she says on her tweet, or on her post on X, she said, I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs and I can't find the words. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night. And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show. And she said, and a third time at a Black woman. She said, I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through. But what made the situation worse was the throwaway apology of if you were offended at the end of the show. Of course, we were offended, but our frequency, our spiritual vibration is tuned to a higher level than what happened. I am not, still, this did not bounce off me, but I exist above it. It can't take away from who I am as an artist. Um, he also took the F word to Alan Cumming, and he either called him or someone else a pedo. You guys can correct me in the comments. I don't remember if he called the same person a pedo, or he called somebody different that. Yeah, okay. Brown Shade says he called an Asian woman a slur. Um, so yeah, it's a mess. Like, he was just saying all the wrong things. And what's suspect to me is the fact that the network edited out all the other slurs, but this is the one that just so happened to make it in the final show. Um, that's what's weird to me. But according to what the people with Tourette's are saying, the one who have vocal tics, they're saying that what comes out is uncontrollable, and it's often the most inappropriate words that come out. And I believe what they're saying. I'm not going to sit here and argue with somebody who has Tourette's or whatever. I believe what they're saying about the disease. I believe what the science says about the disease. But, I think it's fair for Black people to question if it's really Tourette's in this particular case, or if it's racism being blamed on Tourette's. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, like, because it's not funny, but it's like, how are you saying all the quote unquote right words or the wrong words at the exact right time? Like, even with the Black women who have come out, because there were a few Black women who came out and were, educating the masses about Tourette's, and they were saying, well, I'm Black and I even have the N word tick or whatever. And that's understandable. But even when you heard them talking, it was like it didn't fire off the misfiring of the neurons, whatever they call it. Like, it's like it was random. It wasn't like, the perfect words at the perfect time, if that makes sense. And so that's kind of what makes it not that believable. Yeah, right. Mrs. Andrews says uncontrollable but timed perfectly. Yeah, and so that's the thing that kind of makes me question. And I saw under someone's video on TikTok, they said if the slurs were anti-Semitic, there would be less compassion for John coming from a certain group of people. We know who that group of people are, or who they are. Regardless of his condition, if it was a slur that was directed at other groups of people, I think, the response would be totally different. And I know, this is an uncomfortable, touchy conversation, but it is possible that disabled people can also be racist. I mean, that's actually a thing. You get what I'm saying? So, and I saw where the Black women with Tourette's spoke out. And I definitely agree with what they say about the disease and how they can't control what they say. And I understand why those women would give John the benefit of the doubt because they have Tourette's, but we as outsiders looking in, we don't have to take his word and just automatically believe that they were ticks, you know? Because again, it's like it's too perfect to me. Yeah. It was just too the timing was too perfect, and it just, I don't know. I'm not 100% buying it personally. But I think we're allowed to say that and also not discredit Tourette's. Yeah, it can be both at the same time, Dominique. Exactly. Like, we can say, okay, well, this is what this disease typically makes you do, on one hand, and then we can also say, but in this particular situation, I question whether or not it was Tourette's. That's all. I don't think it has to be a big thing. I don't think, we have to go on and on about it. But just because Black people are questioning it or offended by it, I don't think it's fair to call them ableist just because they're like, I question that. You know what I mean? I don't think they're ableist for that. That's all I'm saying. And I think ultimately it was up to BAFTA to remove the slur, just like they removed all the other ones. Ultimately, it was up to them, and they did not do that. So they dropped the ball when it comes to that. Yeah, corporalia, whatever, however you pronounce it, has people saying the most taboo words in our culture slash society. Unfortunately, that includes the N word. Yeah, and even as a Black person, like, if that's all he said at the time he said it, I might even be like, maybe. But the fact that every single time somebody got up there, he said a slur towards me. Well, he supposedly ticked a slur towards them at the perfect time. A gay person, you tick the F word. A Black person, you tick the N word. You call somebody a pedo. Like, come on. Like, it's too convenient. It just doesn't sound believable to me. And again, like, when I was listening to the people with Tourette's making their statements, And with their ticks, like, it was random. It was completely random. Like, it, they would be talking and then they would say something completely random that's not even fitting to the situation that they're talking about. You know what I mean? But in this particular case, like every single tick was it applied to whoever was on the stage. And so that's what makes it look suspect. Yeah, he was on cue. Yeah. So, mhm. And I'm with everybody else like, like it's just interesting how certain things didn't make the list. you know? So, yeah, I understand both sides, but I do question it. So, and I think that it's okay to question it. Like, I don't want black women feeling bad or feeling like they're ableist because they're questioning it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't think you're going to change anybody's mind, from calling them ableist. Like, oh, you're ableist, you're being discriminatory. You're not going to change their mind. And I think a lot of these white people, they have more compassion again because it was black people that received the brunt of the slurs or the ticks or whatever you want to call them. Right. Suddenly everyone's an advocate for Tourette's. Yeah. And I'm just saying, has there ever been an instance where a black person with the Tourette's tick the word cracker? Like, I need to see this in reverse. You get what I'm saying? Like, I need to see it. I need to see, and even like again, when the black people with Tourette's were speaking and they were doing their videos on TikTok and stuff, I didn't hear any ticks that were slurs. I didn't hear the word cracker. I didn't hear any anti-Semitic slurs. You get what I'm saying? So why don't we hear that from black people? You know what I mean? With Tourette's, it's not adding up. And even the black people with Tourette's that were like, I took the N word and I'm black. And just so happened in their whole little speech, they never took the N word. It was always bitch or fuck you or whatever. So it's just, it's questionable. It's questionable. Selena says, I don't see Billie Eilish doing this. Does she really have Tourette's? Yeah, and a lot of this is on the award show. Like, I know John, he came out saying that a mic was in front of him. He doesn't know why they put a mic in front of him. And girl, I don't know. It's just, I don't know what to believe. Yeah, but he said, he questioned why a mic was like in front of his seat. And so it's starting to look like with the BAFTA awards is intentional. And, yep. Miss Felix Caddis says, that's what I thought too, Chrissy. If this was someone black saying something offensive about the Jays, it would be very different energy. It would be, for sure. And even if not about the Jays, about white people, let a black person with Tourette's tick the word cracker. All hell will break loose. Yeah, maybe it could be several things. It could be several different things. John could be blaming his racism on his ticks. He could also be racist and disabled. That's possibility too. Disabled people don't get a pass on racism just because they're disabled, because they can be both. The BAFTAs could also have set him up intentionally or set black people up intentionally and refused to remove the slur from the programming when it aired. Oh, I don't know. Y'all said maybe this happened before. I don't know. Has he ever done this before at a different award show? Does anybody know? Mhm. Yeah, I question it. And my thing is, um, if this is the case, I mean, if the BAFTA awards are racist, and they left the slur in intentionally or whatever, and it really was done intentionally, then I think that is another sign, or it should be another sign for Black people to start their own award shows across the diaspora. Like, it's just, it's time to, I understand that, y'all want to be honored and that's great or whatever, but it's time to stop putting so much validity into these white owned award shows, because if it was done intentionally, then what are y'all gonna do going forward? Are you just gonna keep hopping online complaining, or are you finally gonna start your own award shows and start honoring yourselves among your own people? Like, something has to change at this point, because we're complaining about the same things, whether it be in the United States of America, whether it be in the UK. I mean, it really doesn't matter where it's at. Like, we're always complaining about racism, and specifically at these award shows. So I just want to know what y'all gonna do about it. And I keep seeing, like, people online, really complaining that, like, Black people who live in London, complaining about the racism there, and how, it's more covert than it is here. And so I guess, they're used to it over there. But my thing is, like, okay, well then I just think there needs to be maybe an international award show for Black people across the diaspora. There needs to be, or just one in every country. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Something has to give. I don't know. To me, that's the only solution. What do y'all think? That's my solution. And I've been saying that for years, but y'all be trying to make it seem like it's so unrealistic. I don't know what happened. Why did it say, hold on. I'm getting used to doing this on my phone. Okay. Oh, well, it's okay. I see it now. I see my mic. Oh, yeah. I don't know why the sound cut out. I guess because I opened something on my phone. Sorry about that. Yeah, y'all still want white people's approval. That's part of the problem. Miss Concrete Rose says they are used to racism. I live in London. They just don't do shit about it. Yeah, and then I feel like too, like, and no matter what award show it is, we're always talking about how it's always unfair. Black people are always getting snubbed, and so it's like, what's the point of continuing to put all of our energy into these award shows anyway? Every year the ratings go down. I don't know how it is, as far as the BAFTAs, but I know, like, here in the States, when we talk about the Oscars, the Grammys or whatever, the ratings go down constantly every single year. So nobody is really putting a lot of energy, nobody really cares that much about the award shows anyway. So I don't know. I wish Black people would get serious and just boycott these award shows. Like, I don't really think it's that hard. They're not that great anyway. you know? Yeah, so that's all I got on that. I mean, I don't have too much to say. A lot of y'all wanted me to talk about it. That's all I have. I just feel like two things can be true at the same time. People can be racist, they can be disabled. Both can exist at the same time. And it's not ableist to say that. So yeah, what do we have next? Next, I wanted to talk about, and a lot of you a lot of you sent me this clip of Clifton Powell on this podcast with all these men. I know that it was Clifton Powell, um, Luke James. Y'all can name some of the other individuals, and I did not watch this whole thing at all. But I'll play the clip that went viral of Clifton talking about how he didn't learn how to love until he was 70 years old. And then we'll kind of go from there. Let me know if you guys can hear this clip. This is what took me so long, child. I was trying to put these clips in and it wasn't working. So we'll see if I can play it. Hopefully I can play it, but let me know if y'all can hear it.
I'm 70 years old. So I come from a whole nother era than any of you Negroes is talking about. Yeah. And what I've learned, and I'm not saying I'm right, I think everybody is right. Because there's so many levels to this. But most of this was laid on our parents' parents.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1915 and his parents were slaves. Well, his grandparents were slaves. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault, it's not your father's fault, it's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, I'll be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate Black women. I live with a psychiatrist, forensics detective, gangster, loving Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, who's just been patient with me to teach me how to love. But in closing on this, because I don't want to get too deep, I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro, really bad. I'm fucking up. So I've never been monogamous. So I don't fucking know what it is.
What age did you become a monogamous?
Today. No. So when I hurt my girl, which I've done over and over, and I commend her for even being with me, and I said it in my podcast, and I'm gonna say this and stop. I called one of my partners who was brilliant. He said, when you hurt somebody, where you leave them is where they stay. So I think our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, the people that raised us, those men who treated the women outside the house nice, but then put the thumb on the grandmama and put the thumb on the girlfriend or whoever. They are all, it all comes from out of all of that. And I think that's what makes me excited that we're going to bring the women and the uncles and we need to bring them all in here. But go ahead, what are you going to say?
The one thing that I just want to talk about and what Luke brought up was like accountability. Like, yes, we can talk about, what our families did to us, all this, all that, but eventually, and I know why people try and say this and I really don't like that, but eventually it comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired and, kind of like putting onto them like, hey, like, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about like, going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to love.
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
It's all right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me.
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me, and that's what a lot of women have issues with.
Because I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said,
listen to
I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Don't overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you because you're talking out of line.
But you're not gonna disrespect me.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I am.
I just learned how to love at 60.
I do.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do.
You can't.
I do.
Shit.
I
You don't
do.
know it, nigga.
I do. I'm good.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Get the fuck out of here. I'm living. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know is happening.
I think there's a misunderstanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. No, listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth of this shit. You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all this time. That's what our parents have gone through, and that's why we all so fucked up right now.
Child.
I'm 70 years old, so I come from a whole...
Girl, my thing is, how did it escalate to that point? Did anybody like wonder that? I was like, okay, how did it get to this point? Like it went from 0 to 10. Like, but I guess with the gay guy, he's probably used to like, straight men trying to like check him or punk him because he's gay or whatever. And they, probably take him for being soft. So he had to stand up for himself. But I just feel like that escalated just unnecessarily. But as far as what Clifton was saying, like, dude, and I don't know if y'all heard what he said. He was like, the gay guy was like, when did you become monogamous? And he said today. So he's not even really monogamous. And I watched a little bit more of the interview, and towards the end, he was talking about how he doesn't feel most humans are monogamous, which, I've had my opinion on that too. I personally don't either. I have my issues with monogamy too. But if you are that kind of person, then you have no business being with a monogamous woman. You have no, in my opinion, I don't think that people who are confused in this way, who want to be poly, but then don't want to be poly, whatever the situation is, I don't feel like they should have kids. I don't feel like they should live with a woman. I don't feel like they should be playing house. Just be poly. You know what I mean? Like, stop confusing people. Stop trying to go against how you really feel. Just living your truth. You get what I'm saying? And as far as him saying that he hasn't learned how to love until, it's not that I don't understand what he was saying, how, generational curses are passed down, generational trauma is passed down. So if he was never taught how to love, then whatever. But my thing is, it doesn't sound like it's an issue with him not knowing how to love. He just don't want to be monogamous. That's just what it is. I don't know if it's because he's poly or what, because I see you, Shay says correct, but they're not poly. They just can't satisfy one woman's needs. No, I think that they're not satisfied with one woman. And I think a lot of men like that or are like that. I think there's a lot of men out there who just don't want to be with one woman. And if you are that type of man, don't be dragging women along pretending like you're monogamous when you're not. And I didn't watch the entire interview because, and let's also say this real quick. That's the clip that went viral, right? But it's very clear that Clifton is only speaking this way because he needs a hospice wife. This don't have nothing to do with him, just now being ready to love at 70 and just now. No, you need somebody to take care of you in your old age. Like, that's what this is really about. So let's just be honest about that. And there are men out here who are like that. They decide they want to settle down and quote unquote be in love when they need somebody. Yeah, when they need a nurse. Exactly. A nurse with a purse. And then, it sounds like he's into the signs. He's into the zodiac signs. So he done found him a triple water sign woman who's willing to sacrifice. Oh my God, just terrible. He said she was a Scorpio. What did he say? Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. So her big three, all water signs. So yeah, she's a sacrificial lamb. You know, she's willing to sacrifice herself to be with him. Dominique says she will definitely get him to 80. Girl. And that's a shame. I don't know how much money he got. I don't think it's that much though. I don't think it's that much. And you know, I didn't watch the entire interview because lately I don't have that kind of time, but I did see bits and pieces where outside of this conversation, all these black men on this panel, they were using a lot of feminist language and pretty much talking about, you know, doing right by black women. I don't know if y'all heard Clifton say, you know, and this is why I love black women. I think that, what was the name of this? Did I put that on here? Yeah. This is called Black Men Trust Black Women. And so this was kind of framed in a way where it's like talking to black women, and a black woman actually put this panel together. And so it was talking about black women using all this feminist language and talking about how black men and black women need to heal and come together and make things work. And it doesn't surprise me that a black woman put this together because black male identified women, they often work with black men to keep other black women black male identified and stuck on black men. But when I saw some of the clips from the interview, I thought to myself, why are they doing this? And I want you guys to put in the chat why you think this is starting to happen, because I noticed that not just on this podcast, but on TikTok, certain places on YouTube, we have these various pockets of black men coming out, you know, professing their love to black women, saying how they want to work it out with black women. And by no means is it, you know, I don't think it's a critical mass, but it's enough to notice. Mm-hmm. She's fabulous says because black women are checking out. And that's what I think. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I think that it's because black women are walking away. And it's interesting because in the manosphere, they're saying the exact opposite. They're saying the men are walking away. They're saying that black women are trying to get black men to come back. So it's like two different conversations happening here. It's like both sides are having two different conversations. And I don't know, maybe both sides are walking away due to the, you know, multiple societal factors, including the economy, in which I discussed in my video about the non-black women who refuse to date black men. And make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But I also think that we hear um male-centered spaces and women-centered spaces saying different things because our algorithms are different, our personal environments are different. Because I don't know, this is just me. Based on what I see, more and more black women and women in general are refusing to deal with black men or date men at all. Like you got women on the decenter men tip and all that too. And of course, people are still dating each other in the real world. That'll never change. You know, people are still getting married, people are still having babies. So I don't think men and women are ever going to stop dating, right? But there's definitely been a shift in how many women are approaching the idea of romantic relationships, and especially with black men. A lot of black women are raising our romantic standards. We're also exploring our options with non-black men, and black men see that now, and black women see it now too, right? And so now suddenly we having all these conversations about coming together and making it work with black women, and you know, black men trust black women, and it's like, what are y'all like? And this is why I personally think that these conversations have more to do with black women walking away as opposed to black men, because any other time it's passport bros, it's we getting with white women, it's we putting up the wall of silence, you know? So I don't think it's a coincidence that they want to suddenly come together and talk about working it out with black women. At the same time, black women are talking about swirling and or divesting or decentering men. It's just the timing. You know what I mean? Just like we talked about earlier with the Tourette's dude. Like, it's the timing. Like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, when a black person comes up, you saying the N word. When a gay person comes, you saying the F word. Like, these things aren't coincidences. You know what I mean? They aren't coincidental. So that's what I think is happening here. And have y'all noticed also that whenever it's a black woman who puts these kind of things together, she always has the same phenotype? Have y'all noticed that? She's always plus size and dark skin. The phenotype that black men shit on the most. I don't think that's a coincidence either. It's like out of all the black women who would put something like this together, it's a plus size dark skinned woman with natural hair. Like, oh my God, the embarrassment. Like, ladies, no. And so it's like, it's so many things going on here. So many things going on. Even though you have a subset of black women who are walking away, who are saying, I want better, I deserve better, I'm raising my standards, or I'm not dating black men at all, or I'm going to open my options to non-black men. And you see other black women with, that mammy mindset who are coming in like, no, no, wait, sisters, these are some good brothers right here. We have some good black men that are willing to sit down and talk about what black women want. They love black women. Meanwhile, you got one on here who's, it's probably multiple up here, let's just be honest, that aren't even straight. That's the first thing that the straight black women wouldn't even be interested in. That's the first thing. Secondly, you got this old ass nigga out here. He's 70 years old, talking about he just now learning how to love at 70 years old. Come on, like, if you trying to sell black men to black women with some sense, this ain't gonna work, sis. Like, this is not the way you do it. Like, this ain't gonna work, you know? And even like when I heard some of this panel, and when they were I guess trying to use the feminist language, it's almost like she gave them a handbook to read from. Like, then this is what you say to get black women to listen. Like, girl, it's so obvious that it was pandering. So obvious. What? Wait, what? Gigi says, Chrissy, do you see the preference sitting there cosplaying as a Dusty? Who? Who are you talking about? Whitney says, most of the black men on that panel got either white or biracial partners. See, you see what I'm saying? And see, I didn't even know this, but I'm not surprised. Whitney says most of the black men on that panel got either white or biracial partners from what I saw on their Instagram pages. So the host could have picked black men with black wives for this conversation. You want to know why? She probably didn't have enough to choose from. She probably didn't know enough in her network to choose from. Because it looks like, most of these men, I know Clifton, he's, an actor. Luke James, a singer. She probably wanted, mainstream men who had a little bit of status. So she only had so much to choose from. If that would have been the qualification. She didn't have that much to choose from. Let's be clear about that. But I mean, that makes it worse. So it's pandering. And that's what makes this so embarrassing, y'all. Dark-skinned black woman, dark-skinned plus-size black woman, put together this panel of black men to sell black women a dream. See, there's still some good brothers out there, ladies. Meanwhile, according to what Whitney is saying, most of the black men on this panel don't even have wives or girlfriends who look like her. And so, do you understand why we have these conversations, ladies? Like, what y'all need to burn the tape. This shit is embarrassing. I mean, and like Whitney said, the least you could have done, the least, if you wanted to sell it a little bit better, at least get some men on here who got dark skinned wives or wives who look like you. That's crazy. But I'm not surprised. Black chick Chic says Luke James didn't even want to say he loved black women. Oh my god. Spark Y'all are stupid. Sparkle Spark says that pic is giving niggas with attitudes. NWA. Jesus. Y'all are crazy. Okay, y'all y'all are crazy. I'm not gonna read that one out loud. But like, come on. This is embarrassing. Like, we gotta do better. And no, I was not about to sit through that whole thing, but I just, if anybody saw this, just know that it's pandering and it's because black women are walking away. This don't have nothing to do with black men walking away and getting tired of black women. No, that's not what this is. This is because they see a lot of black women getting tired and fed up. Just like that gay guy said, black women are tired. We're not doing it anymore. We're done. A lot of us are done. Most of us, I ain't gonna say most of us, but anybody in these conversations, and it's not lost on me that this specifically came out online on a podcast that's on YouTube. So this woman here, I'm pretty sure she is privy to these conversations that we have on channels like mine. And that's why she had this idea to bring, and I guarantee she's going to keep doing it. And next time I think they said something about how they're going to have black men and black women on the panel. So yeah, prepare to see more conversations like this, ladies. As we talk more about leveling up, as we talk more about dating and mating out, as we talk more about raising our standards in men, you're going to see more conversations like this with black men coming to the table with black women trying to, act like, oh, when we love you and we're going to change for you when, this is why I love the black woman. Ladies, don't fall for it. It's bullshit. Learn as you go. Send it to me. I haven't seen that one. But I feel like it's time to wrap these podcasts up. Like it's not gonna work. Not on the smart black women. We know what y'all are doing. And then at the very least, y'all, I shouldn't be really giving y'all game on how to pander, but y'all need to learn how to pander a little bit better. At least bring men up there who are with dark skinned women and unambiguous black women. Like, if you can't even find that, then like that ain't gonna work either. Child, it's just crazy. Like, the pandering is very, very not up to par. Okay. It's not up to par. Oh, she said GG. So the one on the end is pretending to be a Dusty. Which end, left or right, girl? I can't take it. Y'all are crazy. Far right is transgender. What do you mean? You're saying it's a transgender man? Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who half these people are. I know the second one from the far right, he's that guy from Insecure. Am I correct? I forget his name. I think he was on Insecure, right? The show Insecure. But I don't know half these niggas. I've seen them, some of them, but I don't know who they are for real. Oh, okay. Lace Ashley is trans. Okay. Listen, some women date trans men, so Whatever. I think if anybody didn't necessarily belong on this panel, it would be gay men, even though he was speaking up for black women, which is great. But it needs to be men who are, women, black women, straight black women who men are, who they're interested in dating and who they would be interested in pairing up with, in my opinion. Y'all said one was on P Valley. Okay. And yeah. And to be fair, I think some black women would be interested in trans men, but most, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna pander, like, you got to put some men up there who are also appealing to black women. That's another thing. Like, this is not gonna work, boo boo. And I know y'all about to call me homophobic, transphobic. I'm just telling you what's not gonna work. That's all I'm saying. It's just not gonna work. And then especially old ass niggas like Clifton Powell, like, he's too old. You get what I'm saying? Who is he appealing to? Especially he getting up here talking about somehow he just learned how to love. Like, this is not gonna bring black women back. This is not like, what is attractive about any of this? Nothing. Nothing is attractive about this. Nothing is appealing about any of this to straight black women who got their head on right. It's not appealing. And so that's part of why I titled the live stream like this, these manipulative podcast conversations. It's getting to be ridiculous, y'all. Like, it's getting desperate out here. And this is how you know, black women, this is how you know we're doing something right. And this is how you know the women over here, especially women on this side, women with similar channels, we're making a lot of noise. We're making people think. And this is part of the result of that. Listen, I'm telling you what works. Stevie says, Christy said, add it up. Transphobic, ageist, homophobic. She said, listen, I'm just telling you what's not going to work for cis het. What y'all call it? Cis het black women. That what they say over in the feminist space? Cis het black women with some sense. A panel like this ain't gonna move us. Okay, you need to go back to the drawing board. All y'all need to go back to the drawing board. This is not gonna work. Okay. Jay Buggin says the ones who are not with black women kept saying women. They left the black part out. Also, Clifton was interrupting and being defensive from the start. Yeah, you can tell Clifton is very emotional. You can tell he's very emotional. He said that he would be, I know I saw one clip, he said he would be 70 in March. So I'm wondering if he's a Pisces, because if he is, that would make perfect sense. Pisces men can't be trusted. Most of them can't be trusted. And they're real emotional like that. Water sign men in general are typically very emotional. That's why I don't date them. Oh yeah, you can throw classists in there too. Cause we not dating broke men either. But yeah, that's very interesting what Jay Buggin said about the ones who are not with black women kept saying women. That's very interesting. So it's like you couldn't even get it. You couldn't even get women on black men on there who are with black women. That's crazy to me. But yeah, this is not gonna work. We don't want this. Very manipulative. Not gonna work on smart black women. Sorry. Try again. And so let's move on to the next topic. I want to talk about this other podcast that landed in my inbox. And this is with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not super familiar with her work. I know that she was on what's his name's podcast? Damn, what's that nigga's name? Y'all just brought him up. put his name in the chat. I forget his name. But she was on his podcast, and that I think that's when she first went viral. Yeah, Cam Newton. Cam Newton. She was on Cam's podcast. I don't remember what exactly she said, but I just remember that the girlies were saying that she checked him and she put him in check or whatever. And I noticed that ever since then, she's been doing this tour with all these different black male podcasters. And this particular one stood out to me. And I want y'all to see if you peep game the way I did. So let's go ahead and play this clip. Let me know if you can hear it.
Who's more delusional right now, men or women?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Women, y'all know I stand on a mountaintop for you, especially black women. But I gotta say this. I meet better men nowadays than I meet women.
Wow.
And that's just the truth. There are so many men nowadays who are ready to be married, who are ready to be family men, who are standing on principles, who are, really into and relational with the women that they're dating.
Right.
And I meet a lot of women who want to play the field, who want to be, more of we have womanizers, but we do have women who are manizers. And when you start to look at women who want a man to just perform, right, which goes into the same field as gold digging, that's a woman who is considered a manizer. And unfortunately, I meet a lot more, men who are like, Doc, I'm ready to get married, or, I'm ready for the next step, and women who either are not there yet, or they're saying they're there yet, but their behavior that they're exhibiting and their inability to be able to nest in a man and allow him to lead her is not allowing the relationship to really take the course that the man is trying to lead them to. I think that folks need to become less transactional and more relational, and we'd have more relationships. Mm-hmm. Because if we base our relationships on just how you perform or how I perform, that's a condition. As soon as that performance is no longer available, then guess what? That condition that I was in love with also goes, and so does my love for you. But if I can look at you and say, whether he performs or not, right? I love him. I like him. If he never brought in another dollar because he couldn't, right? Then I still want to roll with this guy. This is still my person. That's relational. Transactional is if he ain't paying the bills and I could do bad by myself. Yeah. When you hear somebody say that, that's someone who needs you to perform. Right. And I think performance is what's deadening relationships. That's what's causing or allowing the divorce rate to be high. And you have kids in the house that are looking to their parents or whoever's in that home on how to navigate relationships and what is the healthy ideology of a relationship. And if all they see is mom praise you for your performance, then your son learns to perform well, but not how to love. Then your daughter learns to choose somebody who can perform, but not love her. So now you have a mansion that's homeless because you have all performance, but no substance. And a relationship cannot sustain on just performance. It's impossible.
So you heard what Dr. Cheyenne had to say. Does anybody know what her degree is in or what kind of doctor she is? Because I have no idea. But just like Isma says, she said she's so tired. How can you lead without providing? Exactly. And my thing is this. Providing financially doesn't automatically equate to performing, right? Black people, and I notice this is very, very common on these Black podcasts and in these Black gender war discussions. And whenever we have an online conversation specifically about Black relationships, Black people talk about men providing financially and loving a woman as if it has to be mutually exclusive, as if it has to be one or the other. Like if you're providing, you're performing, or you're abusive, or, you're not giving other things, right? And it just has to be that. And if you're loving a woman, then you can't be providing. Like when you hear Black people talk, it's like it's impossible for them to do both, And notice how Dr. Cheyenne immediately shamed quote unquote gold diggers, right? Which in the Black community, that just means Black women who want providers. But she's doing this to pander to Black men because she knows that Black men are the brokest demographic of men in America and in the entire world. Meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Cheyenne is unmarried. She's still waiting on her high earning man, from what I can see. Because let's be clear, I think that's why she's unmarried, because she does not want to settle for what's available to her. But she's going around on these podcasts and she's now trying to convince other Black women. And from what you guys are saying, she's not even Black, she's mixed. But now she's going around trying to convince Black women to settle for men that she wouldn't even settle for. She's on here trying to convince Black women to do what she's not even willing to do, which is get with a mid to low earning Black man. And part of why she's trying to convince other or Black women to do this is so that she can have more high earning options for herself. And see, this is one of those less, direct ways, those indirect ways that women compete with other women for men. Crown K, that's actually a good comparison. Crown K says exactly, she's pandering and pulling a bait and switch just like Jazzy did. Yeah. I could see that. I could see her doing that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard this too, Miss G. She says they said she's really a lesbian because she was hanging out with that lesbian that's on one of those reality shows. I forget her name. But she used to be with Mimi from, was it House? No, Love and Hip Hop. I forget the reality TV shows because I don't watch them anymore. Oh, so she's a Latina. Is she Black at all? Is she half Black or anything? This is very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know a lot about this girl, apparently. Thank you, Dreamy. She says Virgos, mercurial asses be talking out of both sides of their mouths. Cheyenne is a Virgo, and so is Iyanla Van Zant and Ebony K. Williams. Really, all of them are Virgos? That's very interesting. We're not going to diss mercurial people because I am very mercurial myself. I am a Gemini rising, okay? Venus, Gemini. So I'm very mercurial myself, but I didn't realize that they were all Virgos. That is interesting. Very, very interesting. So we got Virgo pick-me's. Yeah, she definitely, I knew she wasn't all the way Black. I knew that already. But yeah, this is one of those indirect ways that women compete with other women for men. Um, and Dr. Cheyenne, she says she meets more women or more men who are ready to settle down. And I'm assuming that she's talking about Black men, right? So she's trying to paint this narrative that there are just these hordes of eligible, successful, perfect Black men. Nothing's wrong with these Black men. Because if you notice in the beginning of the clip, she didn't say nothing about, the character of these men. She didn't say anything about how they were good men. She said a little bit, but she didn't say enough to convince me. Like, we don't know enough about these men that she's supposedly coming in contact with, that they're just so marriage minded, marriage material. We don't know everything that makes them marriage material, but she's speaking on them as if they're just all successful, all perfect Black men who are ready to get married and start families. Meanwhile, she's still unmarried in her 40s. So it's like, sis, those unmarried Black women you're meeting who don't want marriage or aren't ready for it or can't find Mr. Right, they're single for the same reasons you are, ma'am. They're single the same reason you are. They're having a hard time finding Black men on their level, like you are having a hard time finding it. They are single because, just like you, they don't want a hypogamous marriage, and they don't want to pay for a man, just like you don't, ma'am. And so women like this, I see right through them. Like, I see what you're doing. And it seems to be two groups of women who are on the mic for the most part. It's either those Black women or mixed race women, in this case, who are specifically trying to convince Black women to settle for who they wouldn't settle for, or settle for the kind of men they wouldn't settle for. Or it's the Black women who are married or who are partnered with dusties and with mediocre men and men who, most other women would not want. They're also on the mic trying to encourage other Black women to settle like they did. So it seems to always be either one of those two agendas happening with the loudest women who are on the mic. See, they always want to talk about us single women who are supposedly giving Black women bad advice, and we're, telling them to have higher standards and not settle. But we never talk about women like this. We never talk about the married women and the partnered women who are out here trying to get other Black women in miserable marriages like they are. Because I'm sorry, you cannot convince me that these women online who are married and every day they come online and they talk shit about single women, they don't seem happy to me. They don't seem like they're in happy, fulfilling marriages to me. I'm talking about the ones who are on here constantly every single day talking shit about Black women, especially them ones on TikTok. Those ones, I'm like, you can't be happily married because you're too angry, and they're so mad and they're so angry. And it's like, your man ain't satisfying you. Not only do you have to come on here and slave online to pay the bills every month, but you just don't seem happy. You seem like you're full of rage. Why would we want what you have? Like, again, this goes back to what I said about the woman who put together that panel. If you want to sell something to Black women, this ain't the way to do it. It's not. And when it comes to Dr. Cheyenne, like, you're not even willing to settle for the men that you're trying to get other Black women to settle for. So how are you going to sell them to us? You don't even want them. You don't want them. That's why that's why you called off your engagement, because you don't want them either. So what are we talking about here? Nikki, you got a point. Nikki says yes, because now the dark-skinned sisters are getting chose more than her outside the community. She now has to compete with Becky, Maria, etc. All the other preferences. Listen, but that's the thing. Like, if more dark-skinned Black women or Black women in general are leaving, that's more for her. But see, women like this, they want other Black women to settle for the type of men they don't want to settle for, because that's a way to make themselves feel superior too. So that's part of it too. Yeah, we not listening to it. Like, it's not working. Not for smart Black women. It's not working. Those women who she claims she comes across and aren't ready, still looking, quote unquote, gold diggers, they're going to continue to be. Because what did I say in the last video I did about those preferences who were talking about how they refuse to date Black men and they no longer want to date Black men? They're realizing that the juice is not worth the squeeze anymore. They're realizing that getting with these dusties and mediocre men, and then still having to work 40 hours a week, still having to do most of the raising of the children, still having to do most of the domestic work around the home, they're realizing that it's not worth it anymore, especially when you get with Black men. Most Black men, they're cheap, they're stingy, they don't want to pay for anything. They're online talking about how being a provider is a scam. The younger women don't want that, Dr. Cheyenne. So of course they're not going to be ready. If you don't want that, what makes you think they do? Dreamy says, as a Gemini rising in Pisces Venus, the Geminis of the water signs I'm not dissing mutables, but they be tripping. I'm a Capricorn sun, so I'm honest. I feel you. I feel you. Thank you, Dreamy. Yeah, the mutables got issues. I'm with you. All signs have issues, but I understand what you're saying completely. Yeah, Dr. Cheyenne, they don't want them. We don't want them. So all this stuff about how it's just not gonna work. And I question, and again, did anybody answer me like what kind of doctor is Dr. Cheyenne? Like, what does she specialize in? Is she a relationship expert? Like, is she a psychologist? Like, what is she? Because I want to know, like, does she have a dating service? Because I just noticed that a lot of these women, like Dr. Cheyenne, and somebody brought up Iyanla, Ebony K. Williams, they all have like the same thing in common. There was another, I forget her name, but there was another dating coach who was a black woman who the manosphere was trying to like rub in black women's faces because she said she didn't want to coach black women anymore because their standards were too high or whatever. So it's like a pattern with these women. Like they're trying to get success. This is what it seems like. Okay. The women who come to them, it seems like the black women who come to them are very successful women, and they get frustrated with them because those women don't want to marry hypogamously or don't want to date hypogamously. And it seems to me as if these women that they claim that they're encountering also are only interested in black men. So they only have this small pool to choose from. And so, they're telling the women like, hey, if you want a black man, you're gonna have to settle. Just like Iyanla said, you're gonna have to date a bus driver. Okay. And Iyanla said, you gotta date a bus driver, beloved. That's what Iyanla said. And so if there's a pattern with these dating coaches, like they constantly want you to date and marry down. Because there's not enough high earning men to go around. And then when you factor in like high earning men who actually want black women, who want unambiguous black women, it's like the pool just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And these women will tell black women everything, but why don't you just explore your options? Like, why don't you just see if you can find other races of men who may be into black women? That way you can expand your dating pool. That never comes out of these women's mouths. But instead, they're on here talking about, oh, you don't want a performative relationship. You don't want to be a gold digger. That's your problem. You're a gold digger, aka you want a provider. Like it's undercover hypogamy programming. It's undercover programming that conditions black women to be the come up woman, or conditions black women to end up in a situation where they're taking care of a man and doing most of the work, pulling most of the financial burden. That's all this is. And women like Dr. Cheyenne, they try to throw all these big words on it, all these uh technical terms and all these psychological terms on it to try to make it sound more intelligent than what it actually is. But underneath it all, that's what it is. You need to settle for black men who don't have any money, because that's all you can get. That's really just what it is. Yeah, it's emotional manipulation. It's manipulation, period. And I just think they're playing in your face at this point. Not a mammiologist. Y'all are out of pocket. Oh my God. But that's really what it is. It's undercover. I don't even know if you can consider this undercover. But I say it's a little bit covert mamming because it's not very direct. It's not like it's like they're not just flat out saying, here, black women, successful black women, you just need a date down. Date what you can get. Date these mediocre men because that's all that's available to you, and that's all you deserve. That's pretty much what they're saying without saying it. And that's why I say it's more covert than anything. Tyler Perry did the same thing. Oh, if he can only pay the light bill, sister, then that's good enough. Bus drivers, light bills. It's all the same thing. It's all the same rhetoric, just repackaged. And it comes from a new person every few months or so. This is happening. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's the same message repackaged over and over and over again. Black women, your standards are too high. You don't qualify for what you want. So just date down, be hypogamous, and be happy. That's what it is. And now that women are saying, hey, a lot more women are saying, you know what? I'd rather be alone. If that's all I got to choose from, I'd just rather be alone. And now you're being shamed for that. Now, what did Dr. Cheyenne say? She said that was performative. If a woman says, oh, I can just do bad all by myself. If I got to do all that, then I can do bad by myself. Oh, well, you want a performance in relationships, or you want strictly transactional relationships. No, she just wants somebody on her level. And if she can't get that, she'd rather be alone. I think that's pretty reasonable. And see, that's the problem. A lot of these older people, whether they be black, in this case biracial, they want you to continue to do what the older mammies did. They want you to just be like, oh, I'll just go ahead and settle. Even though this is not really what I want, I'm going to just go ahead and settle and be in this miserable marriage. It'll all work out. At least I have somebody. Like, they want you to be okay with having somebody, even though you're not happy with that person, even though you're miserable. And they cannot fathom that women are choosing to be single instead of having to deal with that. They can't fathom that can be a happier life. Like, it's just non-existent to them, because these are the kind of women that need a man, especially a black man. They need that. Nothing wrong with wanting that, but their need for a man, they just think, they try to project that onto other women, and they think we all feel that way. No, we don't. We can take it or leave it. And that's okay. That doesn't make us traumatized. That doesn't make mean that anything is wrong with us. That just means that we're okay with being single if we can't find what we want, or we can't have the kind of relationship that we want. And that's the thing. Not everybody is meant to be in a relationship, male or female. And they need to get over that. Like, that, it's okay. And then she said, what did she call them? Manizers? What the fuck is a manizer, ma'am? What the fuck is that? Like, I don't like women like that either, who try to make everything equal. Like, okay, I see you're trying to make the female version of a womanizer and call it a manizer. Ma'am, that's not a thing. I'm sorry. Not to say that there aren't women who play games. Listen, I'm low-key one of them as a Venus and Gemini. I'm a little chaotic romantically. I'm a little bit chaotic. I admit it. I'm not very committal. So you could call me a manizer, but on average, that's not a thing. It's not enough women out here doing that for that to actually be a thing. Yeah, it sounds dumb. It just sounds stupid. We have more women who are just willing to be single for a while until they find what they want than we actually have manizers. And then I think maybe she's trying to equalize or equate women wanting a provider to being a gold digger to being a manizer. And no, that's not the same thing. And women who want providers are not gold diggers. Those are two different things. Most women are not out here gold digging. If most black women were gold diggers, most black men would not be partnered. Like, it's not a thing. If most black women actually chose for stability, chose a man based on his ability to provide, and chose based on the amount of resources he had, most black men would be single. So that's actually not a thing either. Like, they're talking about a very small subset of women who choose based on it and who actually just actually want a strictly transactional relate. And that's another thing. Like, when you have these conversations, it's like, who exactly are y'all talking to? Most women in general don't even want a relationship that's strictly transactional. So most of these conversations don't even apply to the everyday average woman, especially black women. Since when have most black women wanted a relationship that was strictly transactional? That's how you know most of this shit is bullshit. Like, it's just bullshit. And I feel like most of these conversations are geared towards the minority of very successful black women who have higher standards. That's what that is. Instead of focusing on the everyday average woman that's willing to take a mediocre to broke ass black man, they want to center all of their conversation on the very small minority of high earning black women, successful black women who don't want to settle for men who make less than them. So it's like they're not even addressing the average demographic of black women. It's just crazy the way they're doing this. It's just full of lies. It's all bullshit. Night, Kimmy. Thank you for joining us. Bingo, Christina. She says it's not considered transactional when it's with a biracial or light-skinned woman. Exactly. And somebody needs to ask Miss Dr. Cheyenne, okay, is what you want transactional too, since you're still waiting? Since you're still waiting for your high-earning black man? Because let's be clear, she's still waiting on that too. So just because you're waiting on that, Dr. Cheyenne, does that mean that you only want a does that mean you want a relationship that's strictly transactional? No. You want someone on your level and you want someone to love, just like most black women. Most black women aren't any different from you, Dr. Cheyenne. And this is what makes women like this so full of shit. Because she don't want the men that she's trying to throw on other black women. She don't even want them. It's all bullshit. Is that what she looking for? Because, okay, is this the girl? Did she used to be married to a mega church pastor? Because I don't know too much about her. Is she divorced? Is she a divorcee? Because if she's divorced, that just changes this whole conversation. Well, it don't change it. It adds to my point. Okay, she was just engaged. Okay. And that's what I thought. She was engaged and she called off the wedding because he had kids. And that's another thing. Like, she don't even want a man with kids at her age. So it's like, I feel like she's the most unrealistic out of all the women that she's claimed she's meeting. J Bay says, unfortunately, when you are dark skinned, they want you to pay your shade. But if you want something in the relationship, it's a problem. Yeah, we apparently can't have anything. We have to settle for the lowest of low. Oh, they said, no, that's not her. Okay. So she's been engaged a couple times. Okay. She was engaged for 10 years. Really? And this was the guy who had kids and she decided she didn't want a man with kids. Oh yeah, I definitely think Dr. Cheyenne is one of those women who want a black man for sure. Like, that's pretty obvious. That's why she's going on this podcast tour with all these, on all these nigga podcasts. That's why. I think her preference is black men. Yeah, 50 is fabulous said, I think Cam Newton struck a nerve when he said she's not married in her age. and she has no children. Yeah, of course. And that's another thing that's really kind of interesting, that she's going around pandering to all these men, these black men, and they look down on women like her. They look, according to them, women like her done hit the wall. They're damaged goods, you know. They don't deserve anything. They don't. So it's like, I think that's part of the reason she's pandering as well. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mrs. Andrew definitely send me the video. I appreciate that. So yeah, we see through Cheyenne, and I want black women to know how to peep game when you're hearing these conversations. Like, somewhere in these all of these podcast conversations is hypogamy programming, come up woman programming, the same typical dating down Blackistan programming, trying to get black women to settle for what they've been settling for, and it has not been working. They're trying to put you in the same cycles, you know, the same toxic cycles with the same kind of men. Is they're not trying to encourage you or influence you to do anything different than what you've been doing that's not working. So just know how to peep game when you see these podcasts. That's all I'm saying, because I think more and more of these people are going to continue to come out and try to push this on black women. It's going to keep happening because they see more of us are detaching and divesting and swirling and separating from all of it. And so they're trying to, you know, kind of reel us back in, and no, we're not going. You're going to have to try again. Like I told the last girl, you're going to have to try again. This is not going to work. It's not going to work on the smart ones. It's not. And yes, we would rather do bad by ourselves. And that doesn't make us, that makes us smart. Because what is that Brookings Institute study where it said that basically, in so many words, I forget the exact study it was, but when women attach themselves, black women in particular, attach themselves to poor men, men who are not financially on their level, they struggle more financially. They're more subjected to poverty when they attach themselves to poor men and they have children with poor men. So all of this stuff that they're trying to convince us to do has not been working. So we're not going to go, the smart black women are not going to do that. We're not. And we see right through you. We see the messages. Dr. Cheyenne, if you don't want them, we don't want them either. Sorry. Yeah, Life of Kells. This will stay up. Selena's what? So she been with younger men too? So what, she likes younger men too? Child, a mess. A mess. Hmm. Kimmy says some were saying Cam was offended that she was not interested in him as he was to her. Body language interpretation. Hell, he's almost her equal with manipulative tactics. Yeah. And so of course she's not going to be interested in him because he got too many damn kids. Yeah, lovely lady says, I'm 33 and have swirled my whole life because white men have always pursued me, took me out and treated me very well. Wake up, black women, be pampered, and trust me, it hits different. Yeah, my experience with non-black men has been better too on average. And you know, some black women have better experiences with black men too. I don't think that's most, you know, in most cases for most black women. But, you know, it's okay if you're a black woman that's happy with the black man as long as he's treating you right. That's fine too. Like, but the point is, like, black women don't have to settle, whether it be for a black man, whether it be for a broke man. Like, we don't have to settle for what we don't want. And if we choose to be alone until we find that, or alone forever if we don't find that, that's our prerogative. Like, we don't have to be partnered. You know what I mean? Not all of us want that, especially with the options out here, and that's okay. And I feel like the women who are offended by that are weird. I'm not offended by a woman who I'm single. I live alone, love living alone. I never want to live with a man. At least that's how I feel right now. And so like, but I don't feel I don't feel animosity towards a woman who's married with children and who loves living with a man and who's happily in a relationship. Like I feel like the women who have animosity towards other women who don't live like them, I just think they're weird. It's weird. And it points to you not being happy with your life. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. So we can just switch to open topics and I'll stay on here for a little bit and talk about whatever else y'all want to talk about. But I just want y'all to peep game. I never want you to be confused when you hear these kind of messages repackaged, because it seems like they're trying to get more sophisticated with how they frame certain things to try to make it sound like something that it's not, and it's just so manipulative and I hate it. But that's because Black women, we're wising up. We're starting to wise up. A lot of Black women, especially in these online conversations, we're making better, smarter, more strategic decisions. I read somewhere that the birth rate in the Black community is going down. And again, I think that's across all races of women. But I think that Black women in particular, I gotta get the numbers. Y'all sent me a couple of graphs, couple of studies that I gotta look into, that I want to talk about in a future video, but that was one of them where the birth rates in the Black community are falling and Black women are having less and less children. And again, I think that's tied to, economic factors, the political climate. It's more than one reason, obviously, but I think one of the main reasons is just because, we're raising our standards and that's a good thing. And people are panicking. Clearly, they're panicking. They're in panic mode because look at what they're doing. Yeah. That's a good point. Sublime Thinker, she says, yes, society will punish us for getting with a man who can't provide. Life will be harder for sure because broke men are miserable and will sabotage your efforts. Yes. And see, that's another thing they don't talk about. Like they're trying to push Black women towards getting with these low earning, low value men, specifically successful Black women. But what they're not telling you is that when that goes wrong or when you complain about that, they're going to be the same ones to punish you for it. They're going to be the same ones to turn around and be like, "Oh, you should have chose better. You didn't have to choose that. Why didn't you choose a man who was providing? Because you called me a gold digger. You went on your little nigga podcast and said that it was performative to want a provider. That's what you did." And that's why I said you can't listen to them. They talk out of both sides of their neck. They're full of shit. Um, Kirsten says, "Hey Chrissy, BAFTA, did you find it odd Michael and Dolores have been silent about what happened? It's like they don't want to defend themselves." And that's another thing I meant to say earlier. Like, I spoke on it because a Black woman was, also called the N-word by the guy with Tourette's. But like some of y'all, I get you being offended for Michael B. Jordan and Delroy or whatever, but you don't have to man stroke. Because I saw a lot of man stroking, specifically on TikTok when it came to that. Like man stroking Michael B. Jordan. He don't like y'all like that. Okay, he don't. So that was kind of off-putting. You can talk about the situation, but all the man stroking is unnecessary. That's all I'm saying. Because I heard a lot of that on TikTok. Oh, this strong black man. And it's just, it got a little ridiculous. Yeah, Dolores. I kept getting his name wrong too earlier. Delroy. What is his name? Delroy Lindo. Yeah. Well, it's true. You said that you went on your little nigga podcast and called me a gold digger. Did I say that? That's funny. Yeah, and see that the reason why they're not defending themselves like that is because they got black women to do it. They got a bunch of black women online to do it. They don't have to do it. And I'm not saying I didn't see black men speaking on it as well, because I think Jamie Foxx came out and said something. It was Jamie Foxx. It was some other black male celebrities too. So it wasn't just black women, thankfully. But yeah, a lot of black women are going to be vocal about that. And see, that's another way they kind of pull black women in and get us to fight on behalf of black men. You know what I mean? They start the racism thing. And it's like, you really don't have to do that. You can sit it out and kind of let them defend themselves. Real talk. Like I said, the only reason why I talked about it is because the black woman was upset about it. And she was called a nigga too. So, I mean, I ain't trying to be like mean, but that is really the only reason. Because if it was just Michael B. Jordan and Delroy, I probably wouldn't have said nothing. I probably would have just skipped that topic. Because I know how y'all be getting all extra sensitive when it comes to shit like that. But mm-hmm. Yep. Farmhouse on the Mountain says, oh wait, yep, where they're attack dogs, they're Wakandan warriors. Exactly. What? Oh, what? Lucy said, can you send me that? That's crazy. I didn't see that. I wonder why. When did that happen? Was that recent? Miss Felis Caddis, I still haven't seen that. Or wait, maybe I did see a little bit of that. I don't think I saw the whole thing though. But you can send it to me because I don't think I've seen the whole thing. And I wouldn't even know where to find the interview. Like, who did the interview, Miss Felis Caddis? Do you know whose interview that is? As far as the black women, white woman, biracial kids debate? Like, whose channel is it on, or where do you find the whole interview? Yeah, Dominique. Yeah, the black woman is the only reason I mentioned it. Yep, she was the only reason. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out, Lucy. And I saw where somebody asked me about Katseye earlier. I don't know too much about that, but that's kind of another thing that I really peep with black women too. It's like, because to my understanding, I think her name is Manon, I forget her name. But to my understanding, she's not black, she's biracial. And it's like, I just want to tell black women to be careful about that. Like, when you're championing um a biracial woman because she's experiencing racism from white people. Because y'all will do that, and y'all will defend the biracial girl, and then she'll get over here in black spaces, and then you'll get mad when she starts contributing to your erasure. So that's I just want y'all to be mindful of that. I understand how you feel, how, she's the only blackish girl in the group or whatever, and you hate that she's being kicked out because she's blackish, but just be careful with that. Just be careful with that. That's the only thing I really peeped about that situation, and I really didn't feel the need to like do a whole video on it, breaking it down. That was pretty much my only thoughts when it comes to that. But it's like when I found out that she was mixed, I was like, here we go, black women. Here y'all go again. What? I didn't see that. The real Chilo says Twitter was hot with the conversation about Megan or Manon because someone said unambiguous black women should represent black women. People were mad. Well, at least somebody was having the conversation. Can you send me that or let me know where that's at? I would like to see that because I didn't even know that conversation was happening. Oh, she's half Swedish. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Selena says she looks adjacent to Doja Cat. I could tell she was mixed. Yeah, I didn't know she was mixed because I think I heard a song from Katseye and I really couldn't get into their music, so I just never really been interested, I guess, enough to talk about them or to notice that she like I knew there was a darkish girl in there, like somebody who was blackish, but I didn't really know that if she was mixed or not. But I knew because I remember thinking, oh, she looks light skinned. I remember thinking that. So, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me that she's mixed. Yep, Maisha says it's not our fight. Precisely. Yeah, I mean, the reason why, Bree, that black women are doing that is because of the racism aspect. Like, I find that black women tend to immediately jump into cape mode and mammy mode when anybody is experiencing any kind of ism because we can relate to it. We can relate to colorism and racism and misogynoir. And so we feel like we have to jump and defend every marginalized group, right? And especially if it's a black adjacent person or a person who's adjacent to blackness. Doesn't matter if they fuck with us or not. Like, we just look at the bigger picture, in which I understand why we do that. I get it. But okay, let me ask y'all something. Do you think, like, say if, what's her name that we talked about earlier? Say if Hannah Bleacher was presenting an award on the BAFTAs, and it was her instead of Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. And old dude ticked the N-word. Do you think we would see as many black men defending her as we see black women defending Michael B. Jordan and Delroy? And I have to make those comparisons, y'all. I know y'all hate when I do that, but it's important. It's important to talk about because usually in situations like that, black women have to fend for ourselves. Yeah, y'all said a small group. I'm not saying no black men would say anything. I think some would, but I don't know. I don't know if I would hear as much from them if it was a black woman. And so I'm one of those people, y'all hate it, y'all hate me for it, but I'ma keep the same energy type of bitch. So you wouldn't have heard nothing from me if Hannah didn't suffer from this situation. You wouldn't have heard nothing from me. Cause I'd have been like, okay, let black men handle it on their own, child. Like, that's their business. Cause usually that's what happens to us. Like, whenever we experience racism or any of the isms, like we have to fight it out on our, we have to go to bat for ourselves. So I just think I need y'all to think about that kind of stuff. Like some of these instances where it's a racist moment or a colorist moment, if you and your image are not directly impacted, you can sit it out. You're allowed to do that. You have permission. Cuz a lot of y'all be like, y'all be asking me to talk about certain things and I'm like, why would I talk about that? Like with the whole Katseye thing, like, girl, why would I say anything about that? That ain't my fight. That ain't my business. And it sounds mean. It can sound mean. It can sound evil. But again, when the shoe was on the other foot and it's us that are at the receiving end of all the isms, like we have to pretty much fight on our own. So I don't feel bad for saying that at all. Nobody can ever make me feel bad about that. Sorry. Yeah, Lexiana, I don't think it sounds mean either, but I'm saying to other people it would sound mean. You didn't know? They call me Regina George, girl. Everybody thinks I'm mean. Everybody thinks I'm evil. They think I'm the devil. And I don't care. Okay? But it is what it is. So when I say that, I'm talking about other people. I'm not saying what's actually mean. I don't give a fuck. Okay? You know, us INTJs, we're the villains. That's just what it is. We're just gonna be the villains. Oh well. I've accepted it. Yep, Sydney says it can sound mean slash evil, but that's the reality. We as black women have to fight our own battles and we get belittled for it. Yeah. And so I'm not going to show up for you every time. And all I can say is that, when things like this happen, I'm like, man, what would the world do without black women? And then our ability to like hold so much nuance, like even with this whole BAFTA thing, like our ability to just be like, kind of protect both groups of people, disabled people, black men, black people as a whole. Like we offer everybody so much nuance that they would never offer us. Never offer us. Man, that white man with Tourette's probably don't even he probably is racist. He probably don't like niggas. That's why the tit came out. That's why he was calling it. He don't like niggas. He don't like gay people. He don't like nothing. He's disabled and he doesn't like those people. But black women still hold nuance, still hold space for his plight. I just feel like what would the world do without black women's empathy? Like we have too much empathy. And then and then even the black women, like, I'm sorry, and this is just me, and I'm saying this, as I hope this is not ableist. But even if I had Tourette's, I wouldn't have came out and said nothing. That's a white man. Let these white people hold their own nuts. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like even the Tourette's girlies, I get what y'all were saying, but this wasn't the time, in my opinion. Black women, yeah, and he didn't apologize or nothing, child. Just a mess. Yeah, and that's really what it is, Maisha. It's the self-sabotaging for me. If it's not for black people, it's for racist white people. Like, it's just like, I feel like we don't know when to shut up. We don't know when to just be like, oh, maybe I should sit this one out. Maybe this is the one I need to sit out. You know? Mm-hmm. I said that too. And my review about the America's Next Top Model thing, Sydney says, kind of sounds like Miss J had the stroke, so we're supposed to forget how he carried on ATM. Exactly. Exactly. It's like, we didn't forget. But black women have so much compassion for everybody. And so it's like that compassion blinds us to a lot of fuck shit. And so a black woman like me who's a little bit more discerning, I come off as a bitch. I gotta be the bad guy. I gotta be the villain because I'm telling y'all, hey, don't have compassion that people wouldn't have for you. You know what I'm saying? Because even with the girlies with Tourette's, I understand you have Tourette's, but would that white man with Tourette's have the same compassion for you as a black woman? Because that motherfucker's white first. You get what I'm saying? He's white and male first. He's disabled, he's white man first. And so it's like, I don't know. I just feel like y'all give passes to too many people. And it's part of why we suffer, because we're too fucking nice, too fucking compassionate. And it's like somebody said in my comment section, I said this on another video where I don't know, I don't remember what I was talking about. And when I was like, oh, black women are too nice, and somebody in the comments was like, we need to be mean to other people the same way we're mean to each other. And I was like, bars. That was a bar, because that is so true. A lot of us can be so evil towards one another. We have so little compassion for our fellow black woman, but have just endless amount of empathy and compassion for other groups of people, other marginalized groups. It's really bad when you think about it. It's really, really sad. Miss Narcisse, my Mercury's in Leo. Yeah, I'm a Leo Mercury. I feel like you can kind of tell by the way I communicate, because a lot of people think I'm arrogant, and so I feel like that definitely comes out. Mercury is about how you communicate and stuff, and I definitely can see, like, and I don't even like Leos like that. That's the thing. But that's one of my top signs, because Mercury is my chart ruler. So apparently the Leo is strong. Yes, it is confidence. It is confidence, but I think I'm a little bit arrogant too. It's okay. That doesn't offend me. I'm not offended when people say I'm arrogant. I know I'm arrogant a little bit. I know that. And I feel like more black women need to be arrogant. Black women are allowed to be arrogant. Yeah, Elena says your chart is all over the place, but it makes you dynamic. Yeah, I told you that's why I'm chaotic. So I'm a little bit crazy. My chart is crazy. But you're right. It's like I feel like I have the gift of sight. I feel like I have the ability to see things from different angles that a lot of people don't see it from. And I think part of that is because I have so many different things going on in my brain. It's like I make connections that a lot of people just don't think about. Yeah, Kirsten, I actually haven't seen a lot of black women out there marching. Like when I see footage of some of these protests, thankfully I don't think I've seen any black women out there lately. So I think a lot of black women are sitting the fuck down and I'm happy about that. Yeah, I think black women finally got the message when it came to that. Like, stay home. We finally got the message with that. Now there are a few I've seen. Some one black woman I saw where she got locked up for doing something. So not all of us have gotten the message, but I think a critical mass have is what I'm saying. Black women have understood the assignment. I've seen a few black men. I haven't seen well, I haven't seen a lot of footage, but the footage I've been seeing, it's them white people been out there. And they been getting fucked up, girl. They been getting fucked up. This shit is crazy. Oh no. You know, I forgot about that 50 Cent thing. Yeah, I saw where he was I don't know how did that even start? Like, how did him and Ti start beefing, girl? That's what I was so confused about. I was like, when did this beef start? Like, 50 always beefing with somebody. But yeah, I saw how the whole family jumped in and tagged his ass. And he had it coming. He had it coming. It's about time. But you know, something I find interesting, and this is me coming with my different perspective, but did anybody peep how all of a sudden everybody's mad at 50 when he talks about a light skinned woman? All of a sudden, when he talks about Tiny and Miss Tina Knowles, all of a sudden he's gone too far. But wasn't he just dragging Clarissa Shields? You get what I'm saying? I just that's something I noticed. I didn't hear nobody talking about it, of course, because nobody sees it from that angle. But it's like I just found that to be interesting. Found that to be very interesting. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. He been on some bullshit. Like 50 has attacked so many black women over and over and over again. And y'all just be kikiing and laughing with him, not saying too much of nothing. Yeah, he dragged Naturi. Yep, he sure did. He sure did. But did somebody answer like why him and Ti are even beefing in the first place? Because I was just so confused about the whole thing, the whole beef. Like I just didn't understand. Um, and you know, it's so interesting to me because King, how he was talking about 50's mama has the same phenotype or had the same phenotype as Clarissa. So it's very interesting how he was, you know, low key calling her ugly when that's what his mama looked like. Oh my God. Black men need Jesus. They need help because him talking all that shit about black women and that's what his mama looks like is crazy. But that's the typical black man. That's what they do. And to be fair, you know, when it comes to King and I really can't get too mad about that because I'm not trying to be mean, but King, Tiny, they're not the most attractive people, you know. So it's just like, it's even. I feel like it's even, you know. 50 called him ugly. He called, you know, his mama ugly. It's even because none of them are attractive. So yeah, I can't get mad. It's just like ugly people calling ugly people ugly. You know, it is what it is. That's just, I guess, what it's gonna be. You know, but if somebody says something about you, then you're allowed to say something back. So, but I do feel like too, it is nice that Tiny has a support system. It's nice that her husband and her two sons defended her and she didn't have to say anything. That's how it's supposed to be. The men in your family are supposed to ride for you. They supposed to have your back. So, I think that's good. And I think too that it's the ego thing. Like I talked about before, a lot of times, and I think women don't realize this, but when men defend the women in their family, when they, go against other men for the women in their family, it's an ego thing. They not gonna let another man, talk about their mama or their cousin, a sister, whatever. It's an ego thing. They not about to let that ride. But yeah, I can relate because my brother, oh baby, he don't play about me. My brother, the men in my life, they don't play about me. And I have stories when like one time my brother fought his friend over me because he was talking shit about me. So that's nice to have. It's nice to have men in your family who ride for you. So Slim Goody says T.I. and 50 discussed doing a versus behind the scenes, but then 50 came out publicly clowning T.I. for even asking. He made it seem like it was funny after T.I. came out publicly saying they should. Oh, huh. This is why. That's why I don't like Cancer sign men. Y'all hate when I be like referring everything back to the signs, but these people really do act like they signed. 50 Cent acts like the typical emotional, childish Cancer male. He's so annoying. And he likes to humiliate and embarrass people. Like men like that are weird. Not light skin stick together. Oh. Mm. Bars. GG. I'm with you when you right. I don't know. I kind of like StreamYard. I might continue using it whenever I get my new computer. I don't know. Has the sound been okay during this live stream, y'all? Has it been okay? Because y'all know I'm getting a new computer for real this time after Mercury retrograde is over. I don't know what kind of computer I'm gonna get. Suggestions are welcomed because I have no idea what to buy. Um, On Look Girl says you really don't like us Leos. I like some of y'all. I do. In general, I really like fire signs. Like I like the boldness, I like the audacity, I like the confidence. I even like a little bit of the arrogance. Like I like that about y'all. But it's certain things I really don't like. Like when y'all be wrong, you don't want to admit that you're wrong. Y'all be like, it's like the strong and wrong type of people, you know? That's what I don't like about Leos. Like too much pride, I guess. That's what it is. I gotta do it. I want to do a live stream one day and just roast all the zodiac signs because I can find something I don't like about all y'all for real. Like I can find something. Trust me, because I got a lot of experience with most of the signs. Cause I swear my family, it's like so many different signs in my family. So many. Y'all gonna be mad if I do that video. That's gonna be funny though. Oh my god. See, this is what's wrong with y'all fire signs. See, never wrong though, Chris. That's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't think you're ever wrong. But I will say Sagittarius is my favorite. That's my favorite fire sign. I love me some Sagittarians. You know, I gotta look into this because I saw something, I saw a video and I didn't watch it yet. Funky Dineva and Tiffany. I gotta watch that because I don't know the whole story. So I may come back and talk about that on another day. I don't know. But why are they into it? Like, do they know each other? Like, I'm confused. Oh my god. Every sign thinks they're special. Slim Goody says there's nothing to dislike about Capricorn women, especially as January 1. I like Capricorns too. That's my favorite earth sign. I like Capricorns. But y'all got flaws too. Yeah. I'm one of those people too. I don't prefer to date my own sign. Like I don't prefer to date I don't prefer to date any other water sign males ever again in my life. So I like earth and fire people for the most part. I like air people too because I'm water and air for the most part. That's pretty much most of my chart, water and air. And so I'm cool with those people on a friendship level, but when it comes to like romantically, I tend to gravitate towards fire and earth. I don't know. I guess they balance me out or something. And just personality, like I like the directness from fire signs because I feel like with most fire signs or people with fire sign placements, a lot of fire sign placements, they're more direct. Like you never really have to wonder about them. You're gonna know how they feel because they tell you. It's like they don't play a lot of games, and I think that's why I appreciate a lot of fire signs. Not to say that they can't play games, but for the most part, the directness, and they're gonna tell you how they feel, and you can take it or leave it, and I like that. And then with earth signs, they're no nonsense. They usually got their shit together. I feel like water and air signs, we just too chaotic. We're all over the place. It's the emotions are usually out of control. You have to have a lot of self-awareness to be like contained as a predominantly water sign person or air sign person because it's just so much movement and chaos. You get what I'm saying? It's chaotic. And two people, like one person in the relationships has to be stable. Like otherwise you're just going to be too crazy chaotic mess. Like it's just a mess of two people. Like it's a recipe for disaster. So I personally can't do somebody who's too much like myself. I can't do it. I need somebody who's going to mellow me out a little bit and kind of stabilize me. That's what I need. Which most of my friends are that way. Like my best friend, one of my best friends is a Capricorn. One is a Cancer. I do have also a Pisces best friend too. But my main chick, my main best friend, my bestie for life is a Capricorn. And that's because she stabilizes me. She's very, like Taurus, she's very grounded. She brings me back down to earth. And everybody in my life that's a fire sign does that for me. My brother, he's a Virgo. I don't like how critical he is, but he still brings me down to earth when I need a reality check. Like that's what earth signs are good for. Because as a creative, it's not to say that I'm not grounded at all, but as a creative, I do just be floating sometimes. You know what I mean? Who needs therapy? Who are you talking about, Bernadine? Yeah, Virgos can be very. I could never date. I think that's one of my least favorite uh earth signs because they're overly critical. So I couldn't actually date one, but if you need advice or something like that, you know, I would say, a Virgo who's not delusional, because we just talked about Dr. Cheyenne and all the delusional Virgos. So it depends on the person, but if you're a self-aware Virgo, I think those are some pretty good people to get advice from. Mm-hmm. Ken says, I, as an Aquarius, I prefer people like that as well. Yeah. Because air signs can be all over the place too. Like, I know, I'm a Cancer. My mom is an Aquarius. And, sometimes, like, even with her, like, we're a little bit all over the place together. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that, I mean, like, because, like, right now I'm like looking for a house. Like, I have a lot going on right now. I really want to move out of my apartment in maybe the next year or two. And, like, us going to look at houses is chaotic because it's like we don't have a limit. You get what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, my mom, I will go to her with an idea and she'll just be like, "Yeah, do it." Like, it doesn't matter how expensive it is. And she's very encouraging. She supports all my dreams, but she is one of those people, like, if you want it, get it. If it doesn't matter how much it costs, it doesn't matter how much it's going to put you in debt. And she's very spontaneous with her spending. So, like, if I go to her, be like, "Ooh, mom, should I buy this?" And if she likes it, she'll tell me to buy it. It doesn't matter how much it costs. It's like one of those things. You get what I'm saying? It's like there's no one, like, when it's just us, there's no one to step in and be like, "You probably shouldn't do that." You get what I'm saying? And because I'm a Cancer, I can pull it back a little bit, but sometimes I don't pull it back. Like, we just fly together. You know what I mean? We just dream big, we think big, we do big things together. And then when we bring it to a, a earth sign, my brother, for example, he'll be like, "Absolutely not." Like, I'll go to him and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about getting this house." And then I'll show him the house and he'll be like, "No, are you crazy? Why would you do that? It's too expensive." And he'll give me all the reasons why. Like, he's a dream killer. You know? He'll give me all the reasons why I shouldn't do it, why I should be more responsible. My mama, she never does that. Oh, girl, me and my mama, let me tell you something. We go to the spa, we go out to dinner. Baby, I'm embarrassed to tell you how much money we've spent together in one day. I'm embarrassed. I wouldn't even say it out loud. It's bad. But, you only live once. Um, Not all men are like that though, Aqua, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And I'm extravagant anyway, because those who are deep into astrology, my Mars is in Cancer. It's in the second house, and that can make people really extravagant monetarily. And like I said, I've said this before, but I'm actually pretty resourceful. I'm good at saving money, but when it comes to my home, I will just do stupid stuff when it comes to that. Like I want the not the most expensive, but I want what I want. And I feel like every house that I'm looking at now, it at least costs $1 million. Like every house that I want, it starts out at $1 million. And so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up getting one built at some point. Um, because I'm not gonna settle. Like I want the kind of house that I want. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to home stuff, I'm not gonna settle for that. I'm not gonna settle when it comes to that. But the housing market is really bad right now too. So it's like I don't think it's smart to get something right now. So I am gonna listen to my brother. Um, but when I do get my house built, I'm getting what I want. Period. Yep, just that's true. Mars in the second means impulse buying, but it also means fast money. So a win is a win. Yeah, exactly. Because that's true. I get money real fast. Like I know how to I make it real fast, but baby, I will spend it just as fast. I will blow a bag. Okay. But I feel like I've gotten better over the years. But yeah, that's very true. What you said. Very, very true. Like people think I'm crazy for living in this luxury apartment, which when I think about it, is kind of crazy. It is very expensive, but that's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to, live in a luxury apartment. Now the thrill is gone. Now I'm kind of over it, and I do want something else. But yeah, when I wanted it, and that's what I got. So, but yeah, I think in the future I'm gonna look back and be like, I spent how much for how many years? But I wanted to experience a luxury apartment. So, you know. Oh, I'm definitely not paying 10 grand a month. Yeah. No. And see where I live, luxury is not the same as it is in like LA or New York. So I got lucky when it came to that. But no, I'm not spending 10 grand. I don't make that much money now. I don't couldn't even afford 10 grand a month. I wish, but now I am almost paying half of that. But it is what it is. Yeah, I actually know somebody who lives in LA who's paying like 9 grand a month. So, and their apartment is smaller than mine, but it's Los Angeles. So, okay. Congratulations, Tay. Yeah, it's definitely an experience. If you can afford it and you can live in, even if can afford it and you want to live in a luxury apartment, let's just say for a year, just to have an experience, do it. Cause then you can say, oh, I did it. And you can kind of move on. You know what I mean? Cause I feel like if I would have never done it and I would have been focused on, oh, I don't want to spend that much on rent, I would still be craving it. I would still be like, oh, I want to live in a high rise. But now that I've experienced it, I can say that I've experienced it and I can move on. Like I feel like after this, I don't have to live in another high rise. Like now I don't know if I'm gonna miss it when I leave. I've been here so long, I don't think I will, but it's just something that was on my bucket list that I wanted to experience. So, but I noticed that like now that I've lived in a high rise for so long, like I'm not as impressed by views anymore. Like, when I go to other states or whatever, when I go to, other places where I'm in a high rise building and I see a nice view, or like I'm on the 30th floor or, the 42nd floor, it's not as impressive. It's nice. Like I'll be like, oh my God, the view or whatever, but it's not like, it doesn't blow me away in the same way it used to. And so now that I've experienced that, I can move on. Like I never want to be in a place where I feel like I have to say, "Oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that." I don't want to be in that place, you know. Yeah, because I live downtown and where I'm at, it's literally every race in this building. Like it's a bunch of diversity in this building. I would say it's mostly white people, but um it's still a lot of diversity. Like I see black people, I see Asians, I see Latinos, I see everything. Which I like. I like living in like a multicultural environment. I actually prefer that. But I personally need a house again. Like I said, I'm not ready to buy outright like I did before when I was 25. Like it's gonna be a minute before I actually do that again. And next time I buy, I'm probably gonna get a house built. But I need a house because I need more space and I need to be able to make more noise. I'm a musician. And so it's like, because I remember when I used to have a house, what I really loved about having a house is that I could sing whenever I needed to, as loud as I wanted to, at whatever time of day that I wanted to. You can't do that in an apartment. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously more responsibility when you have a house and when you own a house. And so there's downsides to it, but you get more freedom in a home. And so that's kind of what I miss. I miss the freedom and I miss the space that I had in a home. Cause baby, I'm growing out of this apartment. Like I got too many clothes. And it's like every little thing you buy, and I'm not even like a heavy shopper, but like every little thing you buy, you got to wonder, oh, do I have room for that? Like it could be a pot or a pan. It could be the smallest thing. And it's like, I don't know if I got room in my cabinet. It's just like not enough space. And so that's the whole thing. Like that's why. And then I'm not gonna lie, like I don't particularly like sharing space with other people in the same building. Like I'm not really fond of that anymore. Like in the beginning it didn't bother me as much, but now I'm just like I don't feel like being bothered today. You know what I mean? And that's just me being an introvert too. Like I don't want to have to just the social niceties. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just want to get my mail. I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? And then when you get your mail, like it depends on what you get. Like sometimes when you get something from Amazon, for example, they just don't put it in the locker. Sometimes they leave it with concierge. So you got to get it from concierge. You got to sign it, which look, I don't mind. I don't want people stealing my packages. So it's cool. But at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like doing that. And, you got to go within the hours of concierge and then you happen to get on the elevator and then it stops at every other floor. And so you're awkwardly in the elevator riding with other people that don't want to you don't really nobody wants to talk to each other because it's a fucking Monday. People don't feel like talking. You know what I mean? And so it's like little stuff like that that gets on my nerves. It's just too many people, I guess. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of tired of just the amount of people I have to interact with on a regular basis. And again, that's the introvert thing. And so that's another reason why I'm ready for a house again. Yeah, J Ray, you feel me. She says too much human interaction at once. Exactly what I'm saying. It becomes overwhelming after a while. But one thing I love about living in a high rise, and I was telling my mom this the other day because one of the houses we went to go see, actually two of them, girl, why did they have dead bugs? And I just feel like that it was okay. I know the homes are vacant. I get it. But that's like disgusting. I don't want to see a bug. I have a bug phobia, okay? I hate bugs. And so, like, that is one thing about living in a high rise. You rarely ever see you don't see spiders. You might get the occasional fly, when you open the balcony door or something, but you don't see ants. Like, you don't see any bugs at all, usually. And that is one thing I'm going to miss because I remember when I lived in a house, you would see the occasional spider, and I would freak the fuck out every time. And so I was telling my mom that that's something I don't look forward to as far as living in a house. Cuz it don't matter what you do, you are going to see the occasional insect somewhere in the house. Like, I don't know if there's any getting around it cuz when I had a house, I tried. Okay? Oh, hell no. Tay says, tell me about it. I used to be in the basement. Yeah, no. And so that's, there are pros and cons to everything. So there are little things that I don't like about living in a house too. But I think for me, the pros outweigh the cons. And I think too, when you own a house too, like just the maintenance, oh Lord, that's a whole nother thing. So when it comes to owning a house, like that's something else I'm not looking forward to, but I don't see myself owning something again until another couple years. But when you're a single woman and you like being single more than you like being in a relationship, that's just the adult things you got to do with your life. You can't, because one thing I did like about, I've never really lived with a guy, but just being, in the same house with a guy for long periods of time, you could get them to kill bugs for you. You didn't have to, like, I remember when I had a house or when I was at my man's house and I didn't have to do shit like that. You don't have to take out the trash. So that's the good part about having a man. Cause baby, I'm telling you, I will get somebody else to kill that damn bug. But I remember I was one of those people, like, anytime I was alone and I saw a bug, I immediately had to kill it because I knew I couldn't sleep at night if I knew the bug was gonna still be in the house. So I would grab anything. I'll grab fucking what is it called? What's it called? Air freshener. I would spray air freshener on them motherfuckers. Because I didn't want to get too close to them. So if I see a spider, I would grab a can of air freshener and just start spraying that bitch. Just shh. Until they die. Or I just wouldn't, I just know, I just need to get over my bug phobia. Because anytime I see a bug, it's like I don't want to get close to it, but I also need it to die because it's in my house. You know? Oh yeah, Selena, I hate taking out the trash. And that's one thing I'm gonna miss too. Cause this apartment that I'm in now has valet trash service. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss that. Which, you know what? I might be able to sign up. Like, I have to look into that. I don't know how much that would cost monthly, but whenever I get another house, like I could probably sign up for it and pay monthly, but I don't know if that would be worth it. I don't know. I have to look into it. But that is a nice bonus, having valet trash pick up. Yeah, and my sister, she will literally. My sister is the type, she's a Pisces. She's very empathetic with animals, or to animals, or whatever. And she's the type of person, she'll see a bug, and if it's not, you know, a bug that is like poisonous or something, she will pick it up and take it outside because she doesn't want to kill the bug. No, ma'am. And I get it. I get it. She, has sympathy for the little bugs, but if you come into my space, I have to kill you. Like, you gave me no choice. You get what I'm saying? It's different if I'm outside and I'm in your space. You know, that's different. But if you come into my house, I'm sorry, I have to unalive you. Yeah. That's what my sister does. She's done that with crickets and just random bugs. She'll just catch them and she'll be like, I'm just going to catch it and sit it outside. Wow. So she's not the only Pisces that does that, huh? My niece is like that too. She's a Pisces and she just loves animals. Yeah, my sister, she feeds the neighborhood cats and everything. Like the little stray cats around the neighborhood. Girl, I'll be going to my mama's house and just be random cats on the porch because she feeds the cats, girl. They think they live there. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. Aqua says bees were always coming into my apartment and I'd set them free. Now I'm terrified of bees because I don't ever recall being stung. So I don't know if I'm allergic to bees or what. Maybe I've gotten stung before when I was little, but I don't remember. And so, like, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm really terrified of them. I can't do it. But yeah, this was fun, y'all. I like just chilling with y'all, talking. I'm not watching Bridgerton. My mom is watching it and she keeps telling me to watch it, but I don't know if I'm interested in watching. Is it good? Should I watch it? Because I probably need something to watch this weekend. I actually need to edit this video for members and patrons. That's what I'm doing this weekend, actually. And then if I have time, I'll probably watch a show or two. Oh my God, you got stung in the head? Oh, that would terrify me. Kirsten said, I like this season quite a bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, my mom said it was good, so I might watch a little bit of it and see what it is. Oh, yeah, says I'm a neighborhood cat feeder. You know what though? It is a good way, I guess, to get rid of food that you don't want or whatever. Well, no, actually, my sister buys cat food for the cats, but she does feed like the birds. Like my sister will give like old bread or stale bread to the birds. And that is a good way, I guess, not to waste food. Yeah, she'll throw it out there to the birds, and they'll be out there eating the bread. And I like animals, but I guess I don't think about stuff like that. Oh, Amabay says it keeps the rodents in the area down. Yeah, I could see that. I can see that because my sister was saying how cats will, like, they'll kill a rodent. Oh, the audio broke up. What? We haven't had no problems all night. I wonder what happened. What did it sound like? How long was I breaking up? But yeah, my sister was telling me how the cats will kill a rat or something or a mouse and then bring it back to you to show you that they did it. That's crazy. I talked about Manon a little bit earlier. Christina said it's good now. We can hear you. Well, see, I'm on my phone this time, so I don't know. That had to be a internet thing. That had to be a wireless thing. But yeah, like I said, if y'all give me any computer suggestions, that would be greatly appreciated. I already asked my brother what I would need. I asked my other techie friend. She told me to get a MacBook, an M4 or something. I wrote it down. So I might look into those, but I'm going to get it after the Mercury retrograde shadow period is over. So definitely going to get a new computer so we won't have any sound issues going forward. Girl, looking for computers is always stressful for me because buying electronics is stressful for me. Because I feel like I want to get the right thing. You know, I don't want to waste my money. It's so many options. So it's very hard for me to shop for. That's why it's taking me so long to get a computer because I don't know what to get. But I have to get something now because this old ass computer is forcing me to. So, girl, I'm a night owl. It's not even midnight here. Midnight is early for me. Girl, I'll be going to bed 4, 5 in the morning. I'm one of those people that goes to bed late or goes to bed super late or early in the morning and I sleep late. I'm one of those people. I'm definitely a night owl. I love the nighttime. I'm very nocturnal. So, girl, I'll be up all night. You must not have been here doing those early Chrissy after dark days. I would be up on live like 1, 2 in the morning. The OGs, my day ones, y'all know. They know. They'll tell you. We used to be up here 2 in the morning acting up on Chrissy after dark live stream. Said I get a MacBook compatible with most accessories and programs, easily customizable. Plus, a mini Mac is portable. Okay. Yeah, I already have a iMac, but I use that for my music only, and that's old too, to be honest with you. Like I feel like I feel like I want one of those all-in-ones for my music. And I thought about possibly using that for YouTube, but it's like it's in the other room and I don't know. Usually when I go live, I like to be like in my bed, laying down, and I don't really like to sit up and, really like, how the podcasters be. I really don't do my live streams like that. Girl, I'll be chilling. So it's like I don't really want it to be like a professional feeling. I don't want it to feel too much like work, if that makes sense. And when I'm doing music, like that's work. I'm working, basically. I'm being a creative too, but I'm working. I mean, technically this is work too, but you get what I'm saying. This is more like a side thing. Yeah, I agree with that too. Selena says MacBooks are the most aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I agree with that too. Girl, I don't know why you thought that. Do I sound like somebody who's professional? Girl, I feel like I've never actually reached professional YouTuber status. Even though I've been on here for 11 years, I still feel like I'm not actually professional. Girl, I literally be laying in my bed. And right now I got especially now that I'm doing this on my phone, girl, I'm literally laying down with my phone, like looking up at my phone. And usually when I do it like on my computer, usually I have my computer on a tray next to the bed and I'm either laying down like with my my head resting on my head and I'm looking at the computer, or I'm laying all the way down talking to y'all. Like girl, I don't be sitting up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to sit up or sit too long. Like my ass starts hurting, if that makes sense. And I don't know, like everything else I do, like when I'm working for my business, that's when I'm sitting up usually. Or when I'm doing music, like that's when I'm sitting up. So if I don't have to do that, I'm not going to do that. You get what I'm saying? And with YouTube, I don't have to do that. Yeah, Black Butterfly says, Chrissy, you're a YouTube OG. Yeah, I'm definitely an OG, but I feel like I'm not professional like, a lot of the other YouTubers. Like I was looking at some of those podcasters, girl, they got their little setup with their little mic and they got the lights in the back. Girl, that would never be me. Even if I was on camera, that would never be me. I don't think I could do that. Girl, I be chilling. And I'm halfway naked. Girl, I ain't on no clothes, okay? Chilling. I'm on my phone. I hope I don't ever accidentally push the camera button, girl. Y'all gonna see it all. Y'all gonna see it all. Motherfuckers gonna be doing videos like, oh my God, I saw Chrissy. She was naked. I saw her titties. Ah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I'm one of those people. When I be home, I don't like to have on no clothes. Naked like a motherfucker. If there was ever a fire, I don't know what I would do, girl. I guess I'll just have to run out naked. Child, I'll just be out there ass out or something, child. I don't know. Hopefully, if that ever happens, I have time to grab my robe or something. Girl, I like to be comfortable at home, okay? Uh, I can't be the only one that like to be naked in the house. I'm telling, and immediately when I get home from going out, immediately I gotta take off my clothes. Immediately. It's no better feeling. Tay says the benefits of living alone and being in your birthday suit. Yes, yes. It's nothing better. Well, they say anyway that you should have like a bug out bag or some type of bag next to the door in case of an emergency anyway. And I was doing real good with that at first. I need to like get back on that. I think Angel says it won't matter if the body's tea. Girl, I still wouldn't want my shit all over the internet, child. Could you imagine? That would be crazy. Yeah, my best friend is like that too. Like she don't understand how I can sleep pretty much naked. Like she don't get that. Yeah, I can sleep naked though. I didn't know Candace was rebranding Think Noodle. I'll have to check that out. I haven't watched her in a while. What is she trying to rebrand into? I talked about her going back and forth with the Kirks in my last, I think it was the live stream before the last one. Yeah, I talked about her for a little bit. Yeah. But I wasn't aware that she was like trying to rebrand. Yeah. Usually, like, I don't sleep naked, like fully naked all the time. I'll have on a shirt, or if I'm with a man, I'll have like, a negligee or something. But something real thin and little though. Like I can't have on too many clothes if I have on clothes. Like I can't sleep good, if that makes sense. If I have too much clothes on. Oh, you're saying she's not MAGA anymore. Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that. So what is she now? Is she like neutral politically? Is she what? Pink Angel says Candace. Okay, I gotta watch that. Because what? Candace made a documentary called The Bride of Charlie, basically going after Erica. See, that's why I said in that one live stream that Candace be doing too much. Let it go. Yeah, I'm actually not a very hot sleeper. I don't sweat, but it's something about, and I'm like that too with my head too. Like, and I've said this in the past, and like some of y'all got mad at me because I was like, why wear the, first of all, I don't like bonnets because they're ugly. That's the first thing. But I can't actually usually sleep with nothing on my head. Like, I just have to get up and do my hair the day of, because usually when I sleep with stuff in my head, it just irritates my head so much. Like, I can barely sleep in like flexi rods. If I'm going somewhere the next day and I'm like, okay, I want my hair done, if I gotta put in some flexi rods, like, I'm not gonna sleep well that night. That's why usually I just do my hair the day of. But I can't stand to sleep with anything on my head, or this that it just bothers the fuck out of me. Yeah. Alexis says she's still conservative, just not MAGA. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. I'm the same way. She said wearing a bonnet makes me feel hot and trapped. I don't know why. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Um, but anyway, y'all, I have to go. This was fun. Let me know what topics y'all want me to cover next. You can send me your request at askchrissy@gmail.com. I do have some content to edit for Neptunian members and patrons, so that'll be up as soon as possible. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to join, the link is in the description box. And yeah, this was fun. Like I said, I want to do more live streams where we're just talking about hot topics and we're just shooting the shit. Like, I love these kind of live streams. I love these kind of laid back live streams where it's an open topic and you give me your questions and I answer. Definitely going to start doing more of these. So you guys have a good weekend and thanks for joining me. And until next time, love you. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.